So in today's session, the first thing is we will log into this remote desktop connection. In the remote desktop connection, we have to enter the IP address 122.175.39.11. 3377 is the IP address. So click connect. So once we click connect, enter your username and password. Username is this is my user, Surya, and the password. And click OK. So once we click OK, now we are going to enter into the remote desktop connection. Once we are inside the remote desktop connection, so click on Start. So please see we are inside the remote desktop connection. Click on Start. Click All Program. Click SAP HANA folder. Click SAP HANA Studio. Once you click on HANA Studio, so this is the UI, user interface for the HANA Studio. And click OK. So to launch HANA Studio, click OK. So now we can see the HANA Studio. So in the HANA Studio, on the extreme left hand side, we can see systems. So in the system, we already have few systems added in my HANA Studio. So for each one of us, we will have the system already added. Once you open the HANA Studio, you can find the system already added. So who is going to add the system? The administrative team from Surya Academy is going to add. We have to right click on the system and click log on. The username is HANA user. On the other day we have discussed about these usernames and passwords. Username is HANA user and the password is W capital welcome 1234. In welcome 1234, W is the capital letter and click OK. Now once we click OK, now we are inside the HANA Studio. Sorry, we are inside the HANA database. So in the HANA Studio, at the HANA database, we find catalog and content. Okay, now just give me 1 second, please. Just give me 1 second. There is some disturbance coming. I would like to close my windows. So here, once we are inside the system, you can see catalog and content. Okay, let me open Paint. If this is HANA Studio, so inside the HANA Studio, we have systems. We have system. So under system, we have catalog. And then we have content. Now, what is a catalog? Catalog is a collection of schema. Catalog is a collection of schema. What is a schema? Schema is a collection of database objects like tables. Schema is a collection of database objects, for example, like tables. These tables in HANA, they are in memory. These tables are in memory. Means basically these tables are stored in RAM. These tables, the primary way to store data for these tables is column tables. So under system we have catalog. Catalog is a collection of schema. Schema is a collection of tables or database objects like tables. Tables in memory, and these are column tables. Now let us go back to HANA Studio. So under system, catalog. So expand the catalog. Click the plus icon to expand the catalog. Once we expand the catalog, here we find schema. The schema that we have here is the HANA user schema. This is the user defined schema. I have defined the schema. Expand the schema. Once we expand the schema, here we have tables. Expand tables. Let us go to a business table. I'll enter a table called KNA1. So KNA1 is a customer master data table. So this table stores all the customer related data. For example, when I right click on the table, open data preview. Click open data preview. So here you see what is the customer ID, what country the customer lives, what is his name, what is his region. So this table basically stores all the customer related information. When I right click on the table again and click open definition, one is open content. Content is nothing but the data. And now I'm opening the definition of a table. Nothing but the container of the table. When I open the definition of a table, the table KNA1 stores data in a columnar fashion. The type is column store. So what is the type that the KNA1 stores data is in a column store? Click on runtime information. Click on runtime information. Once we click on runtime information, the total memory consumption for this table is 3376 KB of data. So 3376 KB means it's approximately 3 MB of data. So in memory it is consuming around 3.3 MB of data, and this table is a column store. Okay, so all that I wanted to show over here is at the system we have catalog. Catalog is a collection of schema. Schema is a collection of tables, and these tables are in column stores. These tables in memory. So in memory it is occupying around 3.3 MB of data, and this table is a column store. Now coming to the next one. What is a content? Content is a collection of package. Content is a collection of package. So you can have multiple packages. A package is a collection of information views. A package is a collection of information views. I'll just write the shortcut IV. IV means information view. These information views are basically of three types. These information views are of three types. One is known as an attribute view, AT. Attribute view, attribute. The second one is an analytic view. Third one is a calculation view. So let's come again. So under system you have catalog and content. Catalog is a collection of schema. Schema is a collection of tables. These tables store data in memory. These tables store data in columnar fashion. Content is a collection of packages, and packages are the collection of views, information view. Views are of three types: attribute, analytic, and calculation views. Now, first of all, what is a view? A view is nothing but an object that gets data in runtime. Views doesn't hold data. So where will a view get data from? The view gets data from tables, and these tables store data in column, and these tables are in memory. So basically, data modeling is done through these views. The views are available in packages, but the tables are available in schemas. So it's nothing but how we would like to group tables. The grouping of tables is done in schema. The grouping of packages, grouping of information views are done in package. Okay. Now, how do we group these schemas? Based on what criteria will I group schema? Based on the data provisioning method. So how do we group? Based on data provisioning. So what are the different types of data provisioning we have? For example, let's take an example of SLT. All the SLT related tables, all the tables that are related to SLT will be grouped under SLT schema. All the tables that are related to BODS, Business Objects Data Services, will be grouped under a different schema. All the tables that are related to DXC, Direct Extractor Connection, will be grouped under a different schema. So how do we group schemas? In the real world, the schemas are grouped based on data provisioning. So all the SL related tables will be in SLT, BODS tables will be in BODS schema, all the DXC related tables will be in DXC. So these are for grouping of tables. Now how do we group information views? So information views are grouped based on applications. Let us take an example of ECC. ECC is nothing but Enterprise Core Component or Enterprise Central Component. The core components of ECC, if you ask me what are the core components of ECC based on an application, there are basically three core components. One is sales and distribution, means sales from the logistics point of view. The other one is HR, human resource. and the other one is FICO. Now again in sales we have orders, deliveries, billing. In HR we have compensation management, e-learning, time management. We have payroll management, managing of payroll, time, e-learning, compensation management, personal administration. From FICO, we have general ledgers, account receivables, account payables, controlling profitability analysis. Okay, what I'm trying to say here is how ECC is grouped based on applications. We can group information views based on packages. It means that we can create one package for FICO and group all the views that are related to FICO we can keep in this package. We can create another group called HR. All the information views that belong to time management. For example, TM. Under time management, you want to see employees attending office, employees absentees, employees working overtime. You want to group information views that give information about employees attendance, employees absence, employee working overtime. You can group in a different package called HR. You can group information views that belong to sales orders, deliveries and billing in a different package. So what is a package? Packages are used to group together related information. So what is a package? Packages are used to group together related information. So all the related information for FI in one package, all the information that belongs to HR in another package. So tables are in schema, views are under package, packages are grouped based on an application, tables are grouped based on data provisioning method. Information view, a view is nothing but which gets data from these tables in runtime. These tables are grouped under schema, whereas information views are grouped under packages. Now, the first exercise that we're going to see is how to create a package. So let us see, first of all, how do we create packages in HANA Studio? And what are the different options that are available when we create a package? So by now, we understood what is a package. Package is nothing but package is an object to group together related information. So I'll go back to HANA Studio. I'll close this schema called HANA user schema. I'll close the catalog. So here we are in the catalog. Now we're going to content, expand the content. Under content, we see packages. All these are different package. I'm going to show you one of the package that we created for previous sessions. ECC, let us take this. Expand this package. Expand the sub package. These are different attribute views, analytic views, and a calculation view. So if you double click on any of the attribute view, so these are information views and these are analytic views. So what I'm going to do now, so how we have packages here, I'm going to create one package under content. Right click on the content, click new and click on package. Define package properties. When defining a package properties, the first thing is it is going to ask a name. So I'm going to give, for our batch, we're going to give a name, ECC. So today's date is March 8th. I'm going to create a package called March 8th. So March 8th is our package. So all the work I'm going to do for our batch, I'm going to do in this package, ECC March 8th. Let us give the description. Let us provide, so this is the technical name and this is the description of a package. Now here you see there is something called a delivery unit. Now what is this delivery unit? Especially when you are working on the real world projects, we have different systems to work on. One is a development server, the other one is a quality, and the third one is a production server. So most of the customers will have this landscape: development, QA, and production. So what are we trying to do in development system? Now we are just trying to create one package called ECC March 8th. We're trying to create a package. So once we complete this package, under this package, I'm going to create views, which is nothing but information views. Now we know views are of three different types. We will discuss more about these views in coming classes. Okay. Now when I'm developing a package, and under this package I'm developing information views, I want to sit with end user to test the required functionality that is given by the end user. So what I need to do now, I need to transport this package from development system to quality system. Because here is where I'm going to perform my UAT, user acceptance test. So based on the business requirement, I fulfill the requirement. We're going to do UAT along with the business. So to transport this package from development to quality, not to transport here, what we need to do is, we need to associate this package to something called delivery unit. Once you associate this package to a delivery unit, import this delivery unit to QA. Then you will find the package out here. So what is a delivery unit? Delivery unit is an object that is responsible to transport package from one system to a different system. So that is the reason when we are creating a package, it is asking us a delivery unit. Do you want to associate the delivery unit now or at the later point of time? Because we haven't completed any development activity, I'm just going to leave it as blank. So once I complete my development, now who's responsible is to create a delivery unit. The creation of delivery unit is done by the administrator, who is known as HANA administrator. Now we are on the HANA development side. There is another role called HANA administrator. His responsibilities include installation of HANA, maintenance of HANA, performance optimization, high availability, disaster recovery, backup. All operations of the system is taken care by the HANA administrator. So his responsibility is to create a delivery unit. So what is our responsibility? Once he gives the delivery unit, we will associate this delivery unit to this package. So there is a different place where we can create a delivery unit. All that we have to do is we have to associate this delivery unit to transport packages from one system to a different system. Okay. Now, the given technical name description, a delivery unit is an object to transport packages from one system to a different system. Original language is English. Person responsible. Who is the person who is responsible to create this package is HANA user. The log on language. So when I logged in as HANA user, what language did I use? English. And click OK. So once we click OK, right click on content. If you don't find the package, just click on refresh. You can click refresh and then you can place your cursor on the first package and type in ECC March 8th. You can just type in, automatically it's going to take under this package. Now, please see, we have created a package. We have created a package called ECC March 8th. So can we create sub-package under each main package? Again, we can do further grouping of these information views. So let's go back to HANA Studio again. Right click on the main package, click new and click on the package again. So what are we trying to do? We're trying to again group based on application. Click package again, SD. All the information views that belong to SD will be under this package. Click new, click on the package again. All the information views that belong to HR will be under this package. All the views that belong to FI will be under this package. So main package and sub package. Now, when I right click on the sub package, click new. So how many types of information views we have? 3 types. What are those? Attribute view, analytic view, and a calculation view. Now, when I right click on the package and click new, click on an attribute view. Let us click on an attribute view. What is an attribute view? Let us go more details into an attribute view now. So what is an attribute view? Attribute views are used to join master data tables together. So what is the use of an attribute view? They basically use to join master data tables together. Attribute views are the dimensions. Attribute views are the dimensions which are used to group master data tables, or which are used to join master data tables. To create an attribute view, the best practice always, we start with AT underscore customer. So we're creating, so what is the subject area? Customer. The best practice, according to the naming convention, always we need to start an attribute view with AT. Now, when we talk about master data, so attribute views deal with master data. I'm just giving a technical name and a label. I'll come back to the screen again. I'll just try to open Paint. So what is an attribute view? Attribute views are used to join master data tables. So when we talk about master data, so to create an attribute view, we need a business requirement. So who is going to provide the business requirement? So business is going to provide the business requirement. We're going to sit with the business, understand the requirement, and document this requirement in the form of functional spec. But before that, what is master data? Master data is a data that is not going to change frequently. I just want to spend 10 minutes on data because this is really important to understand what is an attribute view. So first of all, I would like to start with what is data? What is business data? Now, business data especially is of two types. One is master data and the other one is the transaction data. So what type of data does attribute view deal with? Master data. Master data is again subclassified into three types. Master data is subclassified into three types. One is attributes. The second one is text. The third one is hierarchy. So all these kind of data is dealt with an attribute view. So first of all, a master data is a data that is not going to change frequently. Again, this master data is subclassified into attributes. Now, what is an attribute? Now, what is an attribute? Attribute is something which gives more details about a business entity. It gives more details about a business entity. Let us take one example. Let's say there is a business entity called customer ID. Customer ID. What is the name of the customer? What country is this customer from? And what is his phone number? Now, what are attributes? So in these business entities, we have four different business entities over here. In these business entities, what are attributes over here? Now, what is the definition of an attribute? Attribute is something which gives more details about a business entity. Let us take an example. 001 is a customer ID. His name is Raju. His country is India. His phone number is 7799911129. An attribute is something which gives more details about a business entity. Now, who is giving more details about Raju? What is Raju's country? So, country is something which is giving more details about Raju. Where does Raju live? Raju lives in India. What is Raju's phone number? Raju's phone number is this. Now, what are the business entities which are giving more details about Raju? Country and phone number. So that's why country and phone number are called attributes for Raju. So will only phone number make sense? Like if I have a phone number called 77991129, it's just a number. Unless and until we associate with Raju, it gives more detailness for Raju. The same way, where does Raju live? Raju live in India. Okay. Now what is an attribute? Attributes are something which gives more details about a business entity like Raju. So what is his country and what is his phone number? So phone number is giving more details about Raju and country is giving more details about Raju. That's why country and phone number are known as attributes for the customer. The second one is text. What is a text? Text is nothing but descriptions stored in multiple languages. For example, when we go to an ATM machine, we see there are three different languages. One is in English, one is a regional language, and one is a national language. So we see English, Hindi, and the local language. For example, like Tamil or Telugu. So what I'm trying to say over here is, meaning is same, but the language in which we are mentioning this meaning is different. So one is in English, One is in Hindi, the other one is in Tamil. So text is nothing but descriptions in multiple languages. Meaning is same, but it is written in different languages. Now, why do we have text in different languages? Probably a person who can understand in Hindi may not understand English. A person who understands English may not understand Hindi. Especially when we implement SAP, there are clients who use SAP HANA system in Chinese. Chinese don't understand English, and English users like me don't understand Chinese. So that is the reason we store descriptions in multiple languages. So that is the reason I store descriptions in Chinese, description in English. So what is a text? So I can write India in Chinese, or I can write in India in Japanese. So a Chinese user will understand this, but an English user doesn't understand. So that is the reason I maintain descriptions in multiple languages. Now, what is a hierarchy? So these are all subclassifications of master data. A hierarchy is nothing but a representation of data in parent and child relationship. So when we say a parent and child relationship, let us take a simple example, time hierarchy. So when we say a time hierarchy, in time we have year on the top, under year we have quarter, under quarter we have month, under month we have week, under week we have days. So if the year is 2015, so what is my net revenue in the year of 2015? For the quarter one, what is my net revenue? I'm basically trying to analyze my net revenue based on different time dimensions. So based on year, I'm trying to analyze based on quarter. On the first quarter, how much money did I make? First month or week or a day. Actually, if you see, there is a relationship. For year, you have relationship with quarter, quarter to month. First quarter, you have Jan. Under Jan, you have second week, what is my net revenue? On the second week, on the day 8th, what is my net revenue? So year to quarter, quarter to month, month to week, and week to day. Representation of data in parent and child relationships is nothing but a hierarchy. So this is one example. Let us see one more example from the business point of view. Material hierarchy. Material hierarchy. In a material hierarchy, so in a material hierarchy, you have material groups, different groups of materials. For example, we may have one group called fruits and vegetables. We may have another group called electronics. We may have another group called furnitures. So in each group of these materials, under each group of materials, for example, fruits and vegetables. Under fruits and vegetables, you may have apples, oranges, grapes. Under electronics, you may have laptops, iPhones. Under furnitures, you may have dining tables. Okay, what are we trying to do here is, now material group is parent to materials. So group is in the top, which is a parent to a material. On the fruits and vegetables, we have apple and oranges. So material hierarchy. So nothing but a representation of data in a parent and child relationship is nothing but hierarchy. Again, business data is subclassified into two types, master data and transaction data. Master data is a data that is not going to change frequently. So every day, Raju is not going to live in a different country. Today is in India. Tomorrow he may is in US. Tomorrow, day after tomorrow is in Japan. So every day, this is not changeable. Every day, phone number is not being changed. So that's why we say master data is a data that is not going to change frequently. Phone number may change, but not so frequently. And master data is subclassified into attributes, text, hierarchies. Attributes are something which gives more details about a business entity. For example, phone number for customer. Text, descriptions in different languages. Business users who understand Chinese may not understand English. English users may not understand Chinese. Hierarchies, representation of data in parent and child relationship. Now, all this kind of data that we're talking about is actually taken care by attribute views. So attribute view is a view that is used to join master data tables to each other. Okay, now we know what is an attribute view, what kind of data that it deals with. Now to start creating an attribute view, so please see, I started to create an attribute view with something called AT underscore customer. AT represents the naming convention. In SAP, we have a naming convention. Attribute views always needs to start with AT, best practice. Now to start to create an attribute view, we need a business requirement. We need a business requirement. Now what is the business requirement over here? Okay, whenever we start a HANA project, we are the part of HANA application consulting team. We are the part of HANA application consulting team. As a part of application consulting team, now what is our roles and responsibilities? Now my role here, now we have business team, we have business team. Now to take a requirement from business, so we're the part of consulting team, HANA consultant. So as a part of HANA consulting team, what we do, so I go to business, we conduct something called workshop. So under this workshop, the HANA consultant takes the requirement from business. The output of a workshop is nothing but a functional spec. So a functional spec will contain the requirement that is given by business. So whatever the business is basically discussing over here, I document this in the form of functional spec. Now where do I gather functional spec? The output of the workshop is nothing but the functional spec. Once I have this functional spec, which has all the business entities that are given by business, I'm going to convert this functional spec to a technical specification. I'm going to convert this to a technical spec. Now, what is the difference between a technical spec and a functional spec? Technical spec will have the requirement from business. Functional spec will have the requirement from business, and a technical spec will have the details about system. So it talks more about technical details. It talks more about functional details, like business entities. Now, once I convert this functional specs to technical specification, again, these technical specs will have low-level design documents, high-level design documents. So LLDs and HLDs. It means that before I even start creating an attribute view in the system, we need to have all this documentation ready. in low-level design document, so how will I create an attribute view? So whatever the attribute view I'm creating over here, now how am I actually creating this? We need to have a documentation to create this. So I'll start creating an attribute view in a phase called build phase. But I'm actually doing this in the blueprinting phase. When I'm doing a blueprint, when a HANA consultant gets involved in a blueprint, he will actually design all these documents. He will design all these documents, get sign off from business. Actually, we need to get sign off from business from the functional spec. Okay, these are the requirements that are given to me, and I'm going to fulfill this requirement. So we need to get all this documentation ready, and then we need to start create. So what I will try to do now, I will take one requirement over here. We'll take one functional requirement. We'll take one requirement from functional spec, and then from this functional spec, we're going to convert to technical spec, and then we're going to convert to low-level design documents and high-level design documents. And then finally, we will start to build an attribute view. Then we will start the build phase. So let us take one functional requirement. So to take this functional requirement, so let us take one functional requirement. So the functional requirement, so what actually the business has given to me. So the business want to develop an application with the following business entities. The business entities are what is my customer ID? What is the name of the customer? What region does he belong to? What country he belong to? These customers are purchasing what materials? What is the material name? And what is the material group? So what is customer name, customer region, customer country? These customers are purchasing what materials? What is a material name? What is a material group? And these customers belong to the customers. What is the company code? What is the sales org? What is the sales organization? The company code operates in what currency? The company code operates in what currency? And finally, what he would like to see is gross revenues. What is my gross revenue? What are my sales deductions? And what's my net revenue? So this is one of the functional spec the business has given to us in the workshop. Now we need to start developing this application based on the given requirement. So now, where are we until now? We are actually in the functional spec. We just completed the workshop in the functional spec. Now this is what the requirement is given. In this requirement, customer ID, what is his name, what region, what country, what materials he is purchasing, what sales organization he belongs to, and finally, what is the amount? What is his gross revenue based on each customer, or what is his sales deductions and what is his net revenue? So this is what we're going to start from tomorrow. We're actually going to start convert this functional spec to a technical spec, how to convert to a technical spec, and then low-level design documents, and then we start to create these attribute views. So let me just recap today's session. So in the starting of the session, we're actually looking at HANA Studio, Introduction to HANA Studio. In the introduction to HANA Studio, what is a catalog? Catalog is a collection of schema. Schema is a collection of tables. These tables are in-memory tables. These tables are column tables. So once you go to the catalog, expand the schema, and when you double click on a table, the table is in memory. The table is a column store in memory. And then we started to understand what is a package. Packages are used to group together related information. For example, all the FI related information, I'm going to keep it here. All the HR, going to keep it here. When we create a package, we can see something called a delivery unit. A delivery unit is an object to move packages from one system to a different system. Once we complete creation of package, then we started to understand what is an attribute view. Attribute views are used to join master data tables. Because in order to create an attribute view, we require a requirement. So how does requirement come from? Requirement come from business. We sit with business in workshop, understand his requirement. We document the requirement in the form of functional spec. These functional specs we need to convert to technical specs. So one of the functional spec I have taken to build an application is customer materials, company code, and gross revenues and net revenues. So in tomorrow's session, we will see based on the given functional spec to convert to a technical spec and then create a low-level design document and then start to build the attribute view. That is for today's session. Thank you everyone to attend today's session. Now we'll open up for questions. Participants who have questions, please type in your questions in the chat box. Participants who want to interact with me can raise your hands. I'm going to unmute you. You can ask your question. I'm going to answer your question. Thank you everyone once again to attend today's session. We'll see you tomorrow same time. Thank you. And also, I encourage everyone to start reading the material, which is HA 100, which is Introduction to HANA. And I encourage everyone to please read this material. Thank you. So here we have some questions here. How can I get access to previous sessions? So please, all the administrative questions, please talk to Bharat. So where the delivery unit will store. So delivery units are stored in SAP HANA. Basically, these delivery units have an extension called .tgz files. The file extension is .tgz. So these delivery units you can store on your client or you can store on the server. When you store on the server, there's a common place where you can access these delivery units. So what we can do is you can export. So what we do basically, so for example, please see here. When we have these systems, so you have the delivery unit over here. So what are we trying to do? We're trying to export them. We're trying to export the delivery unit. So once you keep an export, it is in the .tgz file, and then you can import them. So please see, Go to File, click Export, click Export. Once you export, expand SAP HANA content. Here you see a delivery unit. So just you need to click Next, Next, and here you have it. You have to basically select what is the delivery unit you want to export. So simply see you have two different options. One is export to server, export to client. So once you export, what we have to do again, now the file is actually stored in the server. Then from here we need to import to QA system. From here we need to import to QA system. So to import to QA system, we need to go to the QA. So basically if you see, the development box is here, the QA box is over here. We need to log into the QA system. We need to log into the QA system. Click File, click Import. Once you click on Import, again delivery unit. So what does it say? Select a delivery unit mode to import objects available at server or client. Location in the form of .tgz files. The file name is .tgz, so you can import to the target system. And that is how we transport objects from one system to a different system. But more details on this, we will have a separate session called Lifecycle Management. At the Lifecycle Management, we will see very detail on each and every aspect on how we can transport, what kind of errors can we get, what are the dependencies for each object, how to check the dependencies, and how to do an error-free transports. We will see in a topic called Lifecycle Management. That will come after approximately around 20 sessions. After we complete 20 sessions, the topic will come. So let us go to the next question. So how do I get access to these materials? So access to these materials are provided by a Dropbox. So for example, so I have something called Dropbox. I'll just show you. So every day after the session is completed, so basically if you see, we have these different Dropbox. So for example, let us take this batch which started on, so I basically name every batch, like the batch start January 11th, the batch is started. So if I double click on this, you'll have all the recording sessions over here. Whatever the recordings we do on a daily basis, I'm going to keep all this. I'm going to keep it now. So we're basically going to keep all the recordings over here. And along with this, we keep all the materials, HANA materials. So in the HANA materials folder, if you go, you can see all the materials HA100. You can double click to open this. You can see all these materials over here. You can go through them. So only in today morning, actually we got this new materials. I even uploaded a new material today morning, which is HANA implementation and modeling, which is based on latest version. So if I open this, so this is a new material. So only today morning I uploaded these materials. So information view, modeling functions, SQL scripts and procedures, HANA Live, text, spatial analysis, management, security in HANA, optimization of models. So this is the latest material today I uploaded. So every day, whenever a new material is released into market, I get these materials and I upload in the Dropbox so you can access them. So let's go to the next question. Next question here is, HANA is a row-based and a column-based, right? You showed column-based. And what condition should we use a row-based? Okay, let us go to HANA Studio. let me go to the remote desktop. In the remote desktop, when I go to the remote desktop, please see when I expand the system, expand the catalog, expand HANA user schema. Please see there are two kinds of tables that HANA can store. You see all these tables? All these tables are stored in a row based. You see? When I double click any of the table, how does it store data? In a row based. So now let us consider this as RAM. So in memory, we have tables that store data in row format. We have tables that store data in column format. So we have data both in row as well as in column. So when you store data in row format, when should we use these tables? When you store data in column format, when should we use these tables? Okay. Whatever the business data, means any table that stores business data, means the data that actually belongs to customers. So who owns the actual data? The data is owned by the business. We are only a consultant who are supporting the business. So business is owned by the owners of the business. The data is owned by the owners of the business. So whatever the data that is owned by the business, we always store in column based. Now when should we store data in row based? It's when system related data, means system log tables. For example, if you see here, please see all the tables that you see: audit, cache, groups, CMC, central management console, indexes, object. So what are these all? All these are system tables. So why do we store data, system related data in row? The only reason is most of the system tables that we use, we rarely do reporting on a daily basis on them. These tables are optimized to store data. So simply to say, row-based tables are optimized to store, whereas column-based tables are optimized for reads. Why is a row-based not optimized for reads? A simple reason is, whenever you ask a question on row, it tries to scan the entire table and then it degrades the performance. But when you store data in column, first of all, the advantage of column is it reads only from the selected columns based on a query. The second reason is data is compressed. The other advantage of storing data in column is compression. You can compress data in column, but we cannot compress data in row. You can, but when you compare with column, you have higher compression ratios. We will see more on this when we discuss about, we have a separate topic called column and row. But on a very high level, when should you go for a column, when should you go for a row? Column for business data, row for system data. Why for system data? System data, most of the time we store data, we rarely use for reporting. We use, but we rarely use. But in column, we mainly use for reporting, I mean the business data. Every day we try to understand who are my top customers, give analysis based on net revenue for different quarters for the same year. In order to take good decisions, we try to analyze data on a daily basis, and that data is stored in column stores. Let's go to the next question. Can I have Bharat ID? So usually all the communication you can do with the communication you can do with nagarjuna.k@gmail.com. So this is my personal ID. So Bharat, so most of the time Bharat will access this email ID. Bharat will access this email ID. So all the incoming emails for this email ID is actually taken care by two persons. One is Bharat and the second one is Vijay Lakshmi. So they will, because a lot of participants will be writing emails, and I may be in office working. So I kept two people who can actually take care of my email. One is Bharat and the second one is Vijay Lakshmi. So whatever the email that you send, they will try to analyze that email. They will see whether it's materials, administrative questions, or it's a question and answer, whether it is a server related issue, or whether it is a fee related things, whether it is a material related things. They will try to basically analyze that, and they will forward to appropriate department. If it's server, we have other people who take server. If it is material, we have another people who take materials. If it is an administrative question, there are other people who take. They will forward those emails and they will resolve that particular issue. Even the phone number that we use is 7799911129. So that is the main number. So whenever you can call that number, and then sometimes you may get call from a different number from the office. So this is the main communication. One is, this is the email, and this is my phone number. And this is always, this phone number is received by Bharat. So Bharat is the admin person who is actually receiving these calls on a daily basis. And even when you send email, so most preferably email, because I can track these emails. Why I prefer email is because I can track. If something is not done, I will follow up with Bharat. I can actually, every day I sit on these emails, I try to analyze what are the incoming emails, what are the outgoing emails, how we are doing the service. And then I can advise properly when you send an email. But what happens is when you do call, I may not have the track of the calls. It's difficult to have track of all the calls. But even we maintain call log. We maintain call log wherein I have why this call is coming and what is the reason participants are calling. I actually tell to Bharat to maintain a call log. I'll also go through his call log. But sometimes, what happens is the information loss may happen because everything cannot be written in a call log. They will write a gist of the call log. So always I prefer participants to please send an email for anything so that I can also see those emails and respond appropriately. Because I am also working in a different company, I will work until 6:30 to 7 p.m. and then I'll come back and then I will basically go through all these things. So please do email, and also for urgent issues you may also call. For anything you may also call Bharat and you can communicate with him. So let's go to the next question. So the next question is the HANA server RAM vary from development, quality and production? Yes. A development will have the memories compared to production. The sizing of RAM is very less in development. In production, probably you may have 512 terabyte of RAM. In a development machine, you may have 96 GB of RAM. Because the volume of data in production is very high when you compare with development. In development, we take a limited set of data for doing testing. But in production, you have all the business data. That's why the sizing of RAM varies from one system to a different system. What is the difference between HANA, S4 HANA native, and HANA Live? Okay. Now HANA, when we say HANA, it's just the product name from SAP. HANA is just a product name. Now, when we say S4 HANA, So S4HANA is nothing but a technology platform which is leveraged on HANA. So what is S4HANA? S4HANA is nothing but simple fourth generation. It's simplified fourth generation software. Now S4HANA mainly deals about for already existing applications. For example, let us take FICO. FICO is already existing in ECC system. A simplified version of FICO is nothing but Simple Finance or S4HANA Finance. Let us take logistics. A simplified version of logistics is Simple Logistics. That is again part of S4HANA. So the simplified version of ECC, the simplified version of the core components of ECC is nothing but simplified fourth generation HANA. Now what is HANA Live? HANA Live is nothing but these are actually data models. So what are we trying to do now? We are trying to create data models, but HANA Live are predefined data models that SAP has already provided. So SAP has already provided templates. Okay, company code related data, use this view. Sales organization related data, use this view. General ledgers, use this view. Employee data, use this view. Already SAP provided standard data models as a delivery with HANA Live. So what is HANA Live? Nothing but predefined data models that are already provided by SAP. What is S4HANA? S4HANA is nothing but simplified fourth generation HANA. Mainly deals with functional consultants. What is HANA? HANA is nothing but it's an in-memory database. It's an in-memory database. It's basically a database and an application platform. It's a database and an application platform where you can design your own applications, or you can use existing applications like ECC powered by HANA, CRM powered by HANA, PLM product powered by HANA, SCM powered by HANA, BW powered by HANA. All these are existing applications which can use HANA as their database. Or you can create an e-commerce website. You don't want to use SAP applications. You can create your own website on HANA. You can create your own mobile app on HANA. But what is HANA Live? HANA Live is nothing but once you have this HANA database ready, you can implement the business logic, how these tables should be connected to each other. This business logic is already provided by SAP in the form of standard templates. These templates are nothing but HANA Live, so that every customer doesn't have to start project from the scratch. It is very time consuming. If you start every project from scratch, it is very time consuming. So SAP already provides a standard templates. So based on the standard templates, you can do customization. That is nothing but HANA Live. Let's go to the next question. Can I increase the memory? Yes, you can always increase the memory. For example, you purchased, let's say, 96 GB of RAM. Especially to tell you one more thing, HANA licensing model is purely based on RAM. For example, let's say I'm using 96 GB of RAM. I pay money to use this 96 GB of RAM. For example, I want to use 512 GB of RAM. I pay money to use 512 GB of RAM. Now, what happens is sometimes there is an unexpected growth of business. Suddenly, there is a huge demand for our products in market. The huge demand. And suddenly, the data started growing exponentially. But initially, when we thought our business for the next 6 months, probably this is the volume of data that is the growth. We try to do some calculation, and based on that calculation, we purchase the hardware. But suddenly there is a huge demand. A lot of orders started coming in, data started generating, invoices started creating. So existing RAM is not sufficient. So we can do scale up. You can scale the memory. You can purchase additional memory. How do you purchase additional memory? So basically, when purchasing memory, we write an email to SAP. Okay, I want 1 unit of RAM. What is 1 unit of RAM? 1 unit of RAM is nothing but 16 GB. So if you have 96 GB, then you additionally add one more 16 GB. Then you have to pay price for that memory. So especially HANA licensing is based on how many units of memory that you're going to use. Also in HANA, there are different licensing models. One is known as Platform Edition. The second one is known as Enterprise Edition. The third one is known as Enterprise Extended Edition. Platform Edition is a very basic edition. Only you get database. In a Platform Edition, we only get only the database, nothing else. We don't get SLT, we don't get BODS, nothing else we get. But if you have a requirement to move data from one system to a different system, obviously we need SLT. Even though you have memory, we need additional components to move data from one system to a different system. Then we purchase Enterprise Edition. SLT is not available in Basic Edition, it is available in the Enterprise Edition. Now suppose say you require another product called SRS. SRS is another product which is known as Sybase Replication Server. I'll give a small example. My servers are in India, for example, my servers are in Japan. You know, in Japan, there are frequent earthquakes. Frequently, every day there is around 4 to 5 earthquakes in Japan. I mean, slight earthquake will come, but still the business demand that we need to keep our servers in Japan. That is the business requirement. We keep servers in Japan. At the same time, the same server configuration we keep in another place in California, in US. So what do we do is, we basically sync both these systems together. The servers we keep in Japan, the servers we have in California, we basically sync these servers together. Now, why do we sync together? Probably there could be a case where earthquake comes, the entire server is destroyed due to the natural calamity. But we have all the data in the server. So what we do is, by using Sybase replication server, we take data from this server, keep in American server, the data center in US or in California. So for this to use, we need a different edition called Enterprise Extended Edition. So RAM, you need to license based on how many units you want to purchase. The features that you want to use is based on different editions. Platform Edition, you get a database. Enterprise Edition, you get SLT, BODS. Enterprise Extended Edition, you get SLT, BODS, and Sybase Application Server. The next question is, are you teaching HANA Live in this course? Yes. So we already have HANA Live. So if you see here, We have all the standard data models. So these data models for simple finance. So all these are for cash management, managing of cash, liquidity management. So all these are different HANA Live data models. All these data models are from HANA Live. This is based on simple finance, COPA. So all these are predefined templates that are provided by SAP. To basically work on HANA Live, we have a HANA browser, HANA Live browser. With that browser, we can work on them. I think the questions are complete. So any other questions participants may have, please raise your hands. I can unmute and you can ask your question. So again, there is one more question that has come. Is there STMS kind of tool to import the delivery unit from development to test environment? Yes, we have. In HANA, we have transport management tool. So using this transport management tool, we can transport, and right click on the instance. So here we have something called open cockpit. So when you open a cockpit, so here we can see lifecycle management. So it's going to, actually we have to have the authentication. We have to have the certificates imported. Once we import the certificates, then we can go back to, we are actually opening on the certificates are not authenticated. Once you can open this URL. This is like STMS, where you can configure routes from one system to a different system. All the route configuration can be done. So Vijay Muthuswamy, Mr. Vijay Muthuswamy.
Yes, Nagarjuna. Yeah, yeah. Yes. Hello.
Yeah. Hello? 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 Hello, Vijay Muthuswamy? Okay, then any other questions, please do write an email. So already it is time. So we'll meet same time in tomorrow's session. And tomorrow we'll start with the hands-on, which is creation of attribute views. Thank you, everyone. See you tomorrow. Thank you.